Hey, good day everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day today. So this is going to be one of the longer videos I do, and I think it's going to be an important one. So I'm going to share with you some talks that I went to that were hosted by Sachi Kumara Rummel. She is one of the last few remaining survivors of the nuclear atomic bombings of Japan, and I think now is a great time to be focusing on that because there's not many survivors of that era left. The average age is 80 years old, so at one time it was known that 1,000 of the survivors had lived in the USA, and I'm not too sure how many in Canada, but I'm sure it's only about a handful or so. Sachi speaks about 4 different events a month, she said, and mostly in schools to younger children. And that's, our future. That's who have to live through the next era and be the next teachers. So Sachi is trying to promote world peace and the use of no more atomic energy or atomic bombs or nuclear energy. The recent disaster of the Fukushima nuclear meltdown caused by the earthquake and tsunami in Japan is another instance of what can happen. Even today, 5 years after that meltdown, there's still 175,000 people, they say, that have been evacuated from their homes and can't go back. They're still finding radioactivity in the water up to 200 miles around that accident. And in the soil, they still find radioactivity, and also the air. And even here in Vancouver and California, we found radiation levels on the waters go up. So, yeah, she definitely has a point. Should we get rid of nuclear energy? And what about world peace? What's the chances of nuclear bombs still happening? So anyways, let's start with a bit of Sachi's talk, and her husband is the one who will open it up.
The ones that drank the water are the ones that died first. So those people who could avoid drinking water, many of them survived. The size of the bomb was only about 2 meters long, and was picadon. There wasn't a word for it in Japanese or English. It was the target of the bomb. It was dropped from about 3,600 meters and exploded a couple of 100 meters above this atomic dome, this industrial promotion house. Next, here we see the city, what was left of it after the explosion.
When the bombs went off over Hiroshima, 5 square miles of city were instantly destroyed, and 80,000 people lost their life in a flash of the 350,000 people that lived in Hiroshima. In Nagasaki bombing, 40,000 people were killed. In total, around 250,000 people lost their lives in these 2 bombs.
I was dropped over Hiroshima. I was 8 years old. I was playing in my schoolyard, 3.5 kilometers from ground zero. Suddenly, there was a flash of light, followed by a tremendous blast. The heat was 4,000 degrees Celsius. Of the 360,000 Hiroshima city citizens, 90% were victims of atomic bomb explosion, and about 80,000 people lost their lives in an instant. Hiroshima city was demolished in an instant too. By some miracle, I survived. Thanks to God. Many of atomic bomb survivors are no longer with us, and now the average of a survivor is 8 years share my experiences with English-speaking people. I kept silent for many years about my experience because it is very painful to evoke my past tragedy that was hidden in my mind as a scar. And also, this kind of experience would be very difficult to understand for those people who have not had any experiences, especially with young adults who are casting our future as a peaceful world. So I will be a grandmother storyteller. So these days I start visiting different schools, like primary school, grade 3 to 6, and with burns. Suddenly, one person who was walking slowly fell down dead.
I missed a lot of what Sachi said, but let me read it out to you. Sachi described the day as starting off perfectly clear. She was under a tree in the playground by the school, and suddenly there was a bright flash of light that created a big sandstorm. And then she said black rain had begun to start falling, and it continued for an hour. And that was mixed with a lot of thunder. As the day went by, there seemed to slowly, the sky was painted a bright, mad red. Wounded victims were walking around here and there, not having any direction. Their burnt clothes were hanging raggedly from their bodies, peeled skin hanging from their hands and faces, their hair sticking all up, melted to the top of their heads. No one could recognize anyone else. People were swaying left and right, crying and mourning. They looked like ghost-like figures, bodies swollen with burns. Suddenly, one of the people walking around...
In Takas Park, many holes had been dug into which dead bodies could be placed and cremated. The size of each hole was just large enough for a body to be placed into it. In the hole, pieces of wood were lined up horizontally and evenly. After my father's funeral in my home, his body was carried by a farmer's carriage to Takas Park. His body was placed on top of the futon mat and covered with a white seat. It was transformed into the hall with 4 workers who were the helpers, wearing towel bandana around their heads. My family and some neighbors were standing a short distance from the hall, staring at it. At the final service, the monk recited a short sutra and prayer. Nam Amida Butsu, Nam Amida Butsu. All the attendants chanted. Then a workman piled some twigs on top of my father's body and poured gasoline from a bottle or one onto it. Suddenly, the flames flew high up into the air. No, no, don't burn my father. I dashed toward him. I was caught by someone and brought back to my mom. Everyone had started mourning. The fire was burning briskly. Flames from other graves burned here and there. The entire park was turned into a ceremony. The smell of burning dead bodies was terrible. You could hardly breathe, but no one was complaining. I almost felt like vomiting I glanced at my cousin Yoshi. He was just standing still, watching the fire. So that's why we are safe. But who are beside the classrooms, at the windows broken and they had some injuries, but we are just outside and then under the tree, so that was a big protection. I remember when the blast happened, completely I couldn't see anything in front of me because of the strong wind, the dark, I don't know, the sound and everything.
Actually, we didn't think that bomb at that time.
No, we didn't know what happened. Many people didn't know what happened, and then people others they thought the atomic, not just the bomb dropped beside them because they thought it was strong.
So that your classmate was 40 people at that time?
How about your class?
I don't know how many. I was only 8, but it's all in here, written how we came home. But grade 5 or 6, elder kids greeted us to go home together, and then instead of going main street, main road, we went back over the mountain.
So most of your classmates survived?
Yeah, we all survived. No one's died. Well, after, of course, some people become sickness, but at that time, I don't think there's anyone died. I never heard. So I think we were safe that earlier.
Because,
great.
yeah, but
That's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will definitely would like to try and I'll talk to, or I'll send a message to TEDx, one of the organizers, but it's in Winnipeg. So, but you would.
In midwinter?
No, they do it in summer, so
Oh, I see.
they do it around May, June, and I hope that they would do you guys as a feature. I'm so thankful that you came out and actually are speaking. Right, that's and you said
Hey, you have a great name, Chuck.
yeah, Chuck. Yeah. Well, my dad was Charlie, and back in the '60s, Charlie Brown. So he named
In
me
Japan,
anyway.
when they say Chuck, they say, oh, YKK. Zipper.
Oh, okay. So that's an easy name for her to spell right now. Because you know that one. Actually, I will take. Yeah.
二人とも日本人でしょ You're not Japanese.
I wouldn't mind coming if I could afford the
It's well, if they can be the feature, then they should pay for everything. I think is so. I hope they will. So. Have you ever been to Winnipeg?
No, I never
You don't go in the winter. It's minus 30. Very good. Yeah, you're right. They have an amazing orchestra.
Is there any Japanese Hiroko? Don't you know the violinist?
I don't know. A friend of mine is a taiko drummer there. She teaches taiko in Winnipeg. Yeah. And if you go, I should probably if I can get you accepted there, I have some Japanese friends there. I will link up with.
I don't need an expensive hotel or something like that. Just someone home would be nice. Homestay or just.
So this video is getting a little bit long, so I think we should probably end it by saying I agree with what Sachi says, and we should all be striving for more world peace, especially in this time of uncertainty with many wars going on in overseas countries and the uncertainty of, well, the new election and Trump and the dividedness of the USA, and also with the protests going on for the pipelines at Standing Rock and Burnaby itself that could be happening. So, and each one of us has an opportunity to offer world peace just by simply offering loving kindness to each person we meet. All of us have our challenges and struggles in life, and we forget that the person we're talking to is going through some things too, whether it's from the past or the current. So yeah, so we'll end it on that note and say thanks again, everyone, for watching my message here.